Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Insight. Insight is a show that is going to take the place of Grassroots that our friend Tom Corrington did for many years. And Insight is a show where we want to try to give you some insight on things you need to know around town. It's election season, and what we're going to do for the next month is we're going to be talking to our candidates, and a couple of things you need to know is you can go to the Coffee County Election Commission website and find out just about everything you want to know, and go to the election brochure. Now, the election is in August. That's August the 3rd, I believe. Early voting is July 17th through the 1st. Tullahoma's early voting is Monday through Friday, 9 to 4:30 at CD Stamps. Manchester, Monday through Friday, 8 o'clock to 4:30 at the Administrative Plaza. And this is going to be an election for state and federal primaries and county and city general elections. And you can go to election brochure and find out all you need to know about write-in ballots. I know a lot of people are interested in that right now to find out what they need to do to stay social distance, possibly not go but mail in a ballot. That's where you can find out that information. Now, our first candidate today to be on is a fellow who a lot of you know. He's a mayoral candidate, a sitting alderman for the city of Tullahoma, Mr. Ray Knowis. And Ray, welcome to the show.
Thank you, John.
Glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about Ray Knowis.
Well, John, let me give you a snapshot of Ray Knowis today in Tullahoma. I'm a 54-year resident of Tullahoma. Came here in 1966 to work at Arnold Center. Was there for 2.5 years and had an opportunity to go to Microcraft, a little struggling machine shop in Tullahoma that had just recently lost their owner, Charlie Folk, died in an airplane crash. But while at Microcraft, I helped grow that company from a 25-man machine shop to over 750 people with 11 divisions around the country. So I helped that company a lot. I'm married to my wife, Ann. We've been married for a long time, since we were 19 years old when we got married. My best friend. We have one son. Son Steve lives in Dayton, Ohio. Forgot where he lives. But anyway, we have no grandchildren, and I have no other business interests, which means I can devote my full time to serving you as the mayor of Tullahoma.
Well, it sounds like a good start. What we're going to do, Ray, is take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back and we'll discuss a little bit more about Ray Knowis, who you are, what you've done, and what your vision for Tullahoma is. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Ray Knowis. This is a critical time in Tullahoma. On August the 6th, voters will have an opportunity to elect a new mayor, one who can provide proven, experienced leadership, one who knows how to get things done and keep Tullahoma moving. I recognize the value of Tullahoma's excellent school system. Our system is recognized as one of the best in the state, and I'll ensure that our schools continue at that level. I will not vote to raise property taxes in order to have a balanced budget until all other options have been exhausted. I'll work closely with our city staff to ensure that my fiscally conservative values are incorporated. I've served on all city boards involved in economic development. I see that as a way that we can broaden our tax base and avoid a property tax rate increase. Some developers have had issues with our planning and codes department. I'll commit to these improvements. There'll be consistency in the instructions from planning and codes without changes from day to day. And there'll be predictable timelines for providing delivery dates for plan reviews, permits, and inspections. Timelines that will be met reliably. Now, while we can't do much about the traffic on 41A and 55, we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. And this I commit to do. So I ask for your vote for proven, experienced leadership.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with Insight, and again today my guest is Ray Knowis, mayoral candidate for the city of Tullahoma. And Ray, keep on telling a little bit about Ray Knowis and what your thoughts are and what your insight is for the city of Tullahoma.
Well, John, let me tell you a little bit about my background and what's qualified me to be the mayor of Tullahoma. But I go back to I was born and raised on a farm in southern Middle Tennessee. Father was a farmer, mother was a school teacher. She taught in a two-room school. She was principal at that two-room school, and I attended there through the 5th grade. After 5th grade, I went on to a larger school and graduated from Lawrence County High School. From there, I went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville as a freshman engineering student. Tough time as a small-town boy going to the big city of Knoxville, and I didn't do as well as I had hoped to do there, and actually dropped out of school after the first year. Married my wife, Ann, which was the best decision I ever made. Most people know Ann will agree with that.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, struggled for the first 5 years of our married life. I was working on second shift assembly line in a manufacturing plant there, but going to school during the daytime. During that time, I got a degree from Chicago Technical College in doing machine work. That degree enabled me to ultimately come to Arnold Center, to what was ARO at the time. I worked in the propulsion wind tunnel facility there as a designer. Thought things were going well. Happy to be in Tullahoma, loved the town. Bought a house, settling down. After 2.5 years, there was the first major RIF, reduction in force at Arnold Center, and I was caught in that as a low man on the totem pole. So, opportunities to go somewhere else, but I didn't want to leave, so I interviewed with Microcraft, a struggling machine shop here in Tullahoma, and offered a job there as a designer, and that things went well, but I continued to go to school and ultimately graduated at Motlow. From there, went on to Vanderbilt on a full tuition scholarship. Very fortunate to do that. Coming out of Vanderbilt with that degree in engineering, I was offered a job in many locations around the country. I interviewed in many cities around the country. I chose to stay in Tullahoma and came back to Microcraft. With a degree in engineering, I was promoted through the ranks of engineering there at Microcraft, becoming the chief engineer, vice president of engineering, but realized quickly I needed more training in engineering management. So I went back to the University of Tennessee and got a master's degree in engineering management. With that came additional responsibilities at Microcraft. Became a group vice president responsible for 4 different divisions of the company around the country. I had Hampton, Virginia, for NASA, Ontario, California for our commercial division, and down at Huntsville for our Marshall Space Flight Center friends. And the center here in Tullahoma that I was responsible for also, which supported all of those other customers. So with that, I was responsible for the budget. And when I had a budget, I had to make revenues meet expenses. I couldn't raise taxes. I had to find resourceful ways to do business. And I'll manage the city budget the same way. I'll work closely with the city administrator and the finance director to make sure that we don't have to raise taxes in the county, and I'll make sure that I use my conservative values to ensure that. But anyway, that's my role in industry and as a management there with the Microcraft group, and that was very successful and gave me great experience. But became a civic leader as well. I did some things with Rotary. I became president of Rotary Club, went on as a district governor for Rotary across the eastern half of the state of Tennessee. And in that role, I gained lessons learned from those cities that I visited across the state as to what worked best there. And I'll incorporate those lessons learned from those cities here in Tullahoma. What works best for us? So Rotary gave me valuable management lessons. Besides Rotary, I was involved in other civic organizations. There was a Trinity adult daycare center that I was president of that for some time. The Hands-On Science Center. I was also the CASA director for 2 years when we brought CASA, it's Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children,
Right.
A very special program to me. Then I was chairman of that board for 2 years and getting it started here in town. I was with the University of Tennessee Space Institute as on their support council, doing treasurer for that organization. So in addition to that, I am particularly involved with the Dream Tullahoma group. This organization their role is to create economic development in Tennessee, in Tullahoma, Tennessee, through our center being a center of aerospace center of excellence. And that's what we are in Tullahoma. We are an aerospace center of excellence. That's our heritage. So that's the civic things that I've been involved in. But after that career, as an industry leader and a civic leader, I've decided it was time to offer my services as an elected official. So as an elected official, as an alderman, I was appointed very quickly by Mayor Curlee to serve in economic development roles by serving on the airport authority, where we have the Tullahoma Air Park, which is a very up-and-coming park there. And I was appointed to the Planning Commission, which is responsible for the zoning ordinances to keep our city in the right place and moving in the right direction. So those are the things that the mayor chose to appoint me to because of my experience. The other thing he did was put me on the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Commission, totally responsible for economic development within the community, and I've been on that role now for the past year. So I'm anxious to see more involvement in economic development. The reason being is because with industry coming into town, we'll have better jobs for many people. We want the high-tech jobs, but we want to continue to promote retail as well. Those two things work well because they form the primary base for our taxes in our city. Our taxes are primarily from property tax and sales tax. So through economic development, we can grow both of those without putting a burden of tax increase and property tax on the citizens of the community. For instance, our Tullahoma tax base, our Tullahoma budget is about $29 million. $5 million of that, only $5 million come from things other than property tax and sales tax. So the property tax and sales tax are about equally divided by about $12 million each. So I want to grow those instead of putting additional property taxes on individual homeowners. So that I commit to do is will not raise property taxes unless all other resources are exhausted. I'll work closely with our city administrator and finance director to make sure that my conservative values are incorporated in the city budget. Now, we can't do much about the roads on Highway 41 or Highway 41A and Highway 55. Those are state roads. But we can improve our local streets and sidewalks. We can do that, and that I commit to do as your mayor.
Well, Ray, we have about a minute before the next commercial break, and I'm going to ask every one of the candidates this. So I want to ask you this, and then when we come back, we'll expand on what might happen to change this. Give me your definition of Tullahoma, Tennessee. If you were out talking to someone who had never been here before, define Tullahoma, Tennessee for me, and then after the break, we'll see about how we're going to expand on that vision, okay?
Okay.
Define Tullahoma.
Tullahoma is a unique city in southern Middle Tennessee, unlike any other small city. We have an aerospace heritage here in Tullahoma. Our air park, our airport, our Beechcraft Museum. We did have the largest aircraft landing manufacturer in the country until they pulled out about a year ago, but we still have that aerospace heritage. That we have the University of Tennessee Space Institute. 14 of the astronauts that have flown in space have gone through the University of Tennessee Space Institute here. Arnold Engineering Development Center, a cornerstone of the economy in our community. That defines Tullahoma in a nutshell.
All right. Ray Knowis will be back with me right after this commercial break.
We're losing it, Doctor.
Not on my shift. Quickly, brush. Roller.
What a transformation!
It's gonna be okay.
Okay, nothing.
At Paintworks of Tullahoma, we specialize in domestic emergencies with Martin Senior Paints. You can be the paint doctor too when you treat your home with Martin Senior interior and exterior finishes.
Doctor, we've got another one.
Got you covered.
Paintworks of Tullahoma. Come see the paint doctor stat.
It's not Invoice. It's not MSRP. It's not Christmas Day, although it may feel like it. It's the lowest prices in Middle Tennessee, period. It's a Stan McNabb Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram or Stan McNabb Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac before these prices are gone forever.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Okay, folks, we're back, and I'm interviewing Ray Knowis, a mayoral candidate for Tullahoma in the upcoming election in August. And we've just found out a little bit about Ray's background. I want to pose a question to you, Ray, that's been asked to me. We have an economic development corporation here in this town, which you sit on. And a lot of people are looking at, just like you said earlier, we need good jobs. We need good jobs that pay good salaries. But basically what we, the public, see advertised more than anything else that commission is doing is bringing more retail into town. Can you expand on that a little bit and tell us some of the things that are going on that maybe we don't see other than retail, which of course we have to have? Just sort of give me your thoughts on that question.
Well, John, that's a good question, because there may be some misconceptions by observers as to what goes on with TAEDC, the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Commission. The visible results from their efforts are the retail side that you've seen develop here in town. And a lot of that retail development that you see is also the result of developers that are promoting that in coordination with TAEDC, so that's a joint effort there. But they are also working diligently looking at bringing in industry to fill some of the vacant buildings that we have in town, plants that are ready to go to work. We've got the old Wilson plant that's been empty for too many years. We've got the university place across town where they built the landing gears, United Technologies Corporation, that's empty now. So a real challenge to bring in industry to fill those kinds of voids. The other thing that we're doing with TAEDC is working closely by design and by agreement with the Coffee County Economic Development Commission. They're the it's the industrial board,
right,
Coffee County
right.
Industrial Board, that we have to work with. Tullahoma is focusing on bringing in medical-related jobs, computer-related jobs, high-tech jobs, and aerospace-related jobs. Those are where the TAEDC is focusing their efforts. But those don't come quickly, so we have to plan wisely for the ones that we do bring in. But it is very important that we bring in industry to fill those vacant buildings that we have ready to go to work.
Well, but don't you agree that part of the attractiveness of Tullahoma to these people is to have a good solid retail base here, have a good solid cultural base here with art center, science center, civic center, to where when these people are looking at towns, they see Tullahoma as a place where their employees will like to live. So that's one of the first things we have to accomplish, is make this a likable place to be.
John, that is absolutely correct. The quality of life is something that any major employer will look at for relocating to a community. And we've done a pretty good job of doing that in Tullahoma. Some other towns around us are doing a great job also. So we have competition in that. But we have the lakes around here. We have cultural centers. We have South Jackson, which is important. So the first question that industry will ask when they consider relocating to a community is the workforce. What about the educational levels of the workforce that we have here?
Very true.
And we do have an educated workforce. We have the Space Institute for advanced degrees. We have Motlow for undergraduate degrees. And we're working to get the ability to get a 4-year degree without ever having to leave town. So creating an educated workforce is as important to attracting industry here as anything else that we can do.
And about 50% of that city budget goes to one of the top 5 school systems in the state of Tennessee.
That is correct. Our city budget is about $29 billion. Only $5 million of that comes from other than sales tax or property tax. $12 million from sales tax, $12 million from property tax, and $5 million from other sources. But the school budget goes for half of that. It's nominally half of that. So it's necessary that we expand that base rather than raising taxes to support that budget.
But those people who bring their employees in here realize that they're bringing their children into a situation where they will get a excellent education in undergraduate in local school. Which is very important.
That's correct. Tom, one of the major attractions to industry are for individuals, particularly young people with families, to locate in Tullahoma. They will come to Tullahoma as opposed to some of the other places they might go because of our school system here.
Okay.
I've been associated with the school system as my wife she was in the school system for 18 years, so I have close affinity for it. And maintaining our school system level of expertise and our standing in the state will be a very, very high priority for me as mayor.
Okay. Real quick, because we're getting close to the next break. It's hard to do business if you're a builder or developer in Tullahoma, seemingly, because there's a lot of headbutting goes on about that. Is there anything real quick on your mind that you think that you, as Ray Knowis, a member of that committee, can do to streamline some of that stuff to make it easier to build and develop in Tullahoma?
It's important. We do have a set of codes that we operate under in Tullahoma that may be more stringent than some other places. We need to look diligently at those codes to see if they're necessary. I know that there's been issues with planning and codes, and there are changes that are being made currently in the planning and codes department to streamline that operation there. And if there's any one thing that I've heard as an alderman about concerns, it's about planning and codes. It is not being ignored. It is being addressed, and as mayor, it will be a top priority for me to ensure that developers want to come to Tullahoma to build.
And get invited to build instead of having to beg to build. That's one of the things I've heard some of the builders say, contractors say, you have to beg to build in Tullahoma. It's not a good thing. What we're going to do right now, though, we know you're working on that, and it needs working on. We're going to take another quick commercial break and be back and let Ray tell you exactly why he thinks he needs to be mayor of Tullahoma, Tennessee.
When your family family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm going to throw it to Ray Knowis, candidate for mayor of Tullahoma, and let him tell you a little story.
I told you in the beginning that my mother was a school teacher. When she was teaching school, she had a lady come and sit with me. She brought with her her son, and we played together every day. He was my best friend. We did this till we were 6 years old, till we had to go to school. When I went to school, Johnny had to go to a different school because I hadn't realized until then his skin color was different than mine. Johnny went to the only elementary school in the community, and when he graduated from there, he couldn't go to the high school in the county that I lived in. He had to ride a bus 45 miles one way to a high school to get a high school education. Johnny had all the intelligence of any young man that you could ever hope to see, but he was denied opportunities. Because of my experience, I understand that people have been denied opportunities because of the color of their skin, injustices because of the color of their skin. I commit to this community that that will not happen in Tullahoma on my watch. That's why I ask for your vote as mayor of Tullahoma.
All right, Ray, thank you very much, and thank you for being with us today. Good luck on the campaign trail. And folks, will remind you that you can early vote at CD Stamp starting on the 17th, and then you can mail in, go to the county website to find out about that. Look for us next time. We have some more candidates to talk with, and realize that you can watch this also on our YouTube channel, channel6thelink.com, or our Facebook channel. So with that said, thank you for watching Insight. Ray, thank you for being with us today, and we'll see you the next time.